we'll just.
Welcome to the Weasel. Welcome to the Weasel. Whip out your dicks and shove them in your ass. Welcome to the Weasel with Mikein and Jonah.
Alrighty then. Yeah. So welcome to the Weasel, Sergey.
Thank you.
You were just saying that you're kind of excited to kind of just be a guest for a change because you do your own podcast as well.
Yeah.
And we've never done a three-way split like this, like all remote. So I anticipate heavy technical difficulties at some point through this, but we will drink through it, my friend.
Okay.
Was it? How do you want to start it off, Megan?
I don't know, because usually we just start off talking. You know, I usually will click, or Jonah will click record in the middle of a conversation, and we just pick it up from the middle of that. But I guess no. I suppose we just start now. So thank you, Serghei, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. You've got your own podcast called Serghei's Podcast on YouTube, and very interesting topics and stuff. I really enjoy your content. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you get into podcasting.
Well, first of all, thank you. I appreciate it. It certainly seems like, like I don't know what's going on whenever I do a podcast recorded and I post it. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be received. So good to hear. Thank you. Appreciate the words. And about me, I guess in relation to podcasts, since that's kind of where the conversation is, I've always enjoyed them. Probably started listening back in like 2015, 2016. Hard to remember when, really. And I've kind of always loved the weird like effect that you get whenever you listen to a podcast and you're a continuous listener, that you're kind of sitting in the room. It's like I feel like with a lot of my podcasts that I watch, I could easily sit down and be part of that conversation, which I guess probably why people enjoy podcasts in the first place. I've always wanted to be invited to one. This is actually my first time being on someone else's podcast. So, and no one was doing it, so I was like, well, I might as well just start my own.
Absolutely honored,
you.
Sorry, dude. This is where it's gonna get real fucking shit because I don't know when to shut up. No, it's fuck, dude. No, never mind. Sorry, dude. Fucking lost it. John, dude, you go ahead, bro.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Mike did engage in some garage activities before, and I kind of like the we'll probably have to use the finger system for like when you have something to say. Your camera totally cut off for me, Mike, because I don't know, your internet's so shit. Did he cut off for you too?
When right at that point when you were saying that there's probably going to be technical difficulties, his camera shut off.
Okay, well then he'll just be a ghost person, then we can't see him when he wants to interject. But my first question for you, dude, what made you want to start your own podcast exactly?
I thought I'd be good at it, and I thought that it was scary. Like it's very scary to just record yourself, like create this content, this permanent thing, and just post it, on the World Wide Web, which is like the public consciousness of the world, and you're just putting it out there. And I guess I'm a very like sensitive person to like not, to try to be socially accommodating for people. Mm-hmm. And whenever you do something like this, you're talking off the fly, off the cuff. And so you're subject to being liable for everything that you're saying. So you need to tune yourself, I think, towards truth and honesty, instead of putting up this facade or a mask or pretend who you are. In that way, you can't make a mistake, because even if you say something that's rude, offensive, or whatever, it's what you thought, and it's much better than creating like a bit or a scene out of it and try to act and be a certain way. And that's a challenge for me, I think, to do that in my real life. And podcast is a tool, I think, that is helping tune myself, I think, to be like a better, more honest, truthful person, because I think it's a good skill to have. And you know, it's not something that most people probably think about. Like, oh, how do I act? You know, but something that I'm sensitive like that, where I like try to chameleon too much and be too accommodating sometimes. And I thought the podcast is going to be really good to be able to work that part of myself. And in addition to, I want to just talk about interesting things with interesting people, right? And it's hard to, in my personal life, to get that accomplished because I work remotely. You know, I hang out with my wife and my kids most of the time. So it's hard to set aside a couple hours, and a podcast lets you do that. It creates an environment of space where it's inviting for anyone, whoever, your buddy, someone you might not know, and you know you're there for a mutual purpose and not just to have a conversation for the next couple hours uninterrupted. So I just thought that idea sounded pretty sweet, you know, and that's, I think, kind of the genesis of that whole thing.
Yeah, we similar idea. I like that you said that it was scary, because I think it was also scary to us, but we had each other, right? So like we had each other to like kind of I don't know, fucking push the other one to like, no, all right, dude, we're gonna record. And then we recorded, and we were like, we talk great all the time, we're so funny. And then that first recording you listen to, and you just realize how fucking not funny you are, and then how dumb you fucking sound, and you thought this would sound good, and then now it blew up in your face. But I think you're right about because like at this point now we've done, I think we're at like 100 episodes maybe between the Weasel
episodes. Oh yeah, and the Broach, yeah.
Oh,
on,
but between the
20 odd Broach,
between the Broach, yeah. And at this point, we're just kind of like, we can't worry. Like we've said so much shit. We've gotten hammered. We've talked a lot of shit to the point now where it's like we can't be worried about what we said particularly. So it's just all off the cuff, all honest, all the time.
It's really,
and there is something freeing to that.
It's really become like a social justice warrior's wet dream in that respect. That they could pick probably like a 15-minute chunk of any one of our episodes throughout the time we've been doing it, and it's just there it is. You're done. Business over. Bank account drained. Finished. Finito. Yeah, that's it. It really is, you know. But there's a beauty in that as well, I think, that we've just kind of blossomed, and because our shit talk has changed as well since we started too. It's become more refined even. Things roll off the tongue a little bit easier. At least I've found anyway. But you know, how is it you pick your guests? Do you have a vetting system for your guests? Because it's something that me and Jonah have talked about at length.
I started this podcast with just the intention of just pressing that button and going. So I actually haven't had time because I haven't been doing it for very long. It's been just like maybe a few months. I just literally looked like a list of folks and I just messaged them. I opened up my like chats, my messenger chats. I'm like, who I've been talking to lately? It's like, oh, this guy, I could talk to him. And I just sent him, I was like, hey, I'm starting a podcast. It's going to be pretty soon. Like when I get it going, would you like to have a conversation? And so I've scheduled so many of those. So that's kept me going. And now I'm on the second phase of like, now I actually have to think about what you just said, right? Whereas before I didn't have this problem.
Yeah, because I think this will start happening to you. The more like whenever people find out you have a podcast, more and more people that you don't think will be good on your podcast will insist on wanting to be on your podcast, and you'll have to kind of deflect or be like, oh, I mean, I take a kind of a direct approach, and I just go, no, get fucked. But like it definitely comes up pretty frequently now. People are like, "Oh, can I be a guest?" And I'm like, your odds are better if you don't ask. Like, let me ask you, kind of thing. But I don't know. That feels kind of like elitist of me to even say.
Yeah, all 64
but
followers
ultimately,
of
like,
Spotify are like really backing you up on that one, dude.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, it is your baby in a way, right? Like, this is like your thought, creativity experiment that you're trying to do, and you want to bring on people that you like resonate with, and you think will produce like interesting insight or conversation. I mean, maybe I'm a little too protective of the podcast in a way.
No.
I think the idea of just letting it rip is probably good as well, because you're gonna have a lot of good conversations that you didn't expect to have, but you're probably also gonna have a lot of fucking shitty conversations that you invested a lot of time and energy and editing into.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think that now that I have this experience, I've probably done like 20 plus, maybe, just in a very short burst, right? I was doing like like 3 or 4 a week or something like that at one point, because I just scheduled everyone, and I didn't realize like how everything would stack, and eventually like I looked at my calendar, I was like, oh fuck, I was like, I went this morning and tonight, I was like, I didn't even think about that, I just said yes to whatever people said. But now that I have this experience, I definitely a lot more cognizant and more aware, and have this like element of like, if I take this person, run them through the simulator in my head of how I think the conversation will go, it definitely affects me to be able, like sometimes I'm like, oh no, actually, I might have wanted to invite this person before, but now I just don't think that it would really.
And now you have to
Because
have an awkward
you are
conversation.
responsible. Yeah, it's your content. You're putting in the work. You own the thing. It's like this entity that you're driving, you're editing in, you have all the technical stuff, right? So I think you do have that right. I think it's a right and a responsibility, I think. Because if you just let whoever on all the time, your shit gets tainted, right? You're not taking control, you're just letting it run wild.
Well, yeah, you're
Yeah,
not just gonna hand
this
your
is all
baby to
just
any
one.
commoner off the street, but you're still gonna teach that baby to BMX bike down hills. Sorry, dude. I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me still? No.
No.
No, nice. No, that's all good.
No, dude.
I'll just what I'll do is I'll just interrupt every once in a while when I have something funny to say. No,
Perfect.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just
dude.
kidding. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you should. I think this is all just one big fucking like compliment and dick suck to you, Serghei, and that I honestly don't really know you super well. I know that you were in the Marines, and I know that you're really good friends with David, who also I just know through Shane essentially, and about I really like David. And then I know that you started a podcast, and we just got chatty about that, and just something about our conversations. I was like, this dude's got it. Like whatever it is, like this dude has the intellect or the listening ability. I listened to a bit of your podcast today just to try to get a feel for how you typically go. And I really enjoyed the way that you listen to your guest and really critically think about feedback. So I was really excited to have you on in more ways than one. But because you're so fucking smart, I have another question that me and Mike in Transparency brainstormed a list of questions for you before the podcast. So we both have like, I don't know, like 10. We probably won't get to them all. But
Okay.
one that we collectively came up with is because you're such a fucking smarty pants. Is time travel possible?
Oh, good Lord. Okay. First of all, can I interject something? I would like to just inject my own thoughts, like answering this
Pre-question.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny, you talk about intellect, but do you remember the first time we like hung out, like in a group setting?
You and I believe it was
in North Carolina.
Yeah, I believe it was probably a shindig at friend of the show Shane's home, if I'm not mistaken. And at this shindig, I was probably drinking, and at a time in my life where I gave less fucks than I give now. So, whatever you're about to say, I deserve it.
It might have been at Shane's house for the first time, but I just remember the first like significant time. It was with Shane, and we were at some apartment in Wilmington. Do you remember that? Where we played card games?
No, was it like my girlfriend's apartment at the time?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that at all, dude.
That's fine. I think you were very, very drunk. But so was I, and we were playing a game, and I can't remember the game, but one of the main, things in a game, especially when you're drinking, a drinking game rather, right? Playing cards, you got to keep score. You got to know what's going on, whose turn it is, and that often gets lost. And I don't think you ever once let a round slip by without knowing everyone's scores, where we're at, and who's next. So I was very impressed with that. I was like, because that speaks that is a symptom of an underlying structure of cognitive ability.
Yeah.
or just dickhead competitiveness. And I was like, no, the integrity of the game, goddammit. We're gonna get this fucking score right, and I'm gonna win. More importantly,
that might have been the fuel, right? That it's like that the signal that's sent that activates your reservoir of intellect that you keep in storage. You're like, oh, I gotta get competitive right now. I can't lose. And then shit goes. But anyways, the point was, I wasn't surprised to find out that you like everything really organized on your desk and stuff like that. Like that makes sense because you have this natural ability to take a system, run it through a process, and then the data gets stored really well so where you can extract it. And so having things organized is probably really important to you because you're like, it's much easier. You're creating that connection, the pathway between a visual signal and your brain to be able to be like, I know where everything is, I know what's going on, and you can run more efficiently, right?
I am super organized. I wish you could see my desk right now. My desk is like only necessities are on my desk at all times, and if anything else is on my desk, it stresses me out. Meanwhile, Miken's desk looks like a fucking bomb went off. Dude's spilling red wine, and he has so many fucking knickknacks.
I got knickknacks.
But how good does Miken feel all the time? How do you feel good just being like, I don't give a fuck about any of this?
Dude, I feel so good all the time. It's fucking retarded. You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid how good I feel all the time. Ignorance, yes. Bliss, absolutely. No, I see. I look at my desk and I want to go for like the most free-flowing, creativity-inducing vibe that I can get. See, Jonah doesn't even believe in vibes, so his vibe has to be very structured to mask the fact that there is in fact a vibe. Whereas I embrace the vibe and hang things like little kindergarten play mats on the wall to stop the sound from bouncing off too much. You know what I mean? It's like it's a vibe. So, but yeah, no, it's I think you're right. I think Jonah does have an underlying intellect. He's got this it's like a mega structure that's under the moon. You know, it's like that inside his brain, and it's like super smart. Fucking probably could take over a small government if he wanted to, but it's just unrealized.
Small one.
Yeah.
And then move up from there. I agree, dude. We're gonna turn this dick sucking on Jonah now.
Yeah, dude, we're sucking your dick, bro. How does it feel?
You're on the spotlight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no. I feel like most people deflect in this kind of situation, whether people are calling you smart. But I'm just gonna double down and say I fucking know it. I'm a super smart guy. God damn it. And the world's my oyster waiting for me to fuck it. I'm ripping apart oysters and doing whatever the fuck I want with my organized ass routine. I got to-do lists and I'm checking shit off.
Oh, that's funny.
And does fucking time travel exist, Sergey?
Yeah, that's really funny. We're kind of synced up here because that was a transition back to time travel. Does time travel exist? Okay, so I can really only answer this question in two different ways, in two different parameters rather. Parameter one, assuming what we know about, Einstein's general relativity and quantum mechanics, right? That's really all I can guess it in. And number two, if there's something beyond that structure that we just don't know that could overturn some of the stuff. But I guess time travel, first, we probably have to agree on what is time. That's probably the first thing. Because if I talk about time travel and you think that's something different than I think, I guess, do you guys have an idea of how you define time?
Yeah. Let's establish it as like we understand that there's small amounts of time travel just in the the space and time it takes for light to travel to such and such, and like the different speeds based off gravity, and stuff like that. That's understood. But I think the time travel that fucking Jonah wants to know about maybe the most is there a way that someday we can go back in time and tell our younger selves not to do stupid shit or to double down on the stupid shit that we are doing? That kind of time travel.
Yeah, you're talking about like a human, at least a human body.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Maybe just a finger.
I would have
no
gone
less.
back and told a finger.
Yeah, just a finger. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, the lag's really throwing me off.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
trying to interrupt
Sergey.
you.
Oh, no. But yeah, you're talking about human. I guess, like, time is like a malleable thing. It always changes, like you're saying, Micah. Like, it depends on, how fast an object's going is relevant to how much time it's experiencing. So that's a weird thing for me to even think about. Time. I honestly have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if you can. I know that you can simulate going forward in time, right? So if you were on Earth and then Jonah was like, hey, I just want to let, things kind of go by on Earth so I can experience some greater future. Today kind of sucks ass. Like there's a lot of shit going on. She's going to go in space and travel around the Earth at the speed of light or close to the speed of light. You do that for like 10 minutes, 20, maybe you stay up there for a year. You come back like hundreds of years later, thousands of years later. So for you, much less time has gone by than for the rest of the Earth. So technically that's time travel, but I don't know of a way to do it backwards.
Fuck.
Damn,
And then you can just be like, I don't like this shit either, and just hop back up. And the thing is, you can only go forward.
Yeah.
Would you do that? Here's a question. Would you guys, if you had, doesn't have to be now. Now you're enjoying your time. You're having, you got a podcast. You can't. There's no reason to, teleport out of this reality. But maybe later on, when you're older, would you hop up there and go in that spaceship? And if so, how many years in the future? And would you do some jumps?
I think so. I think I would. Just like, I don't know, probably like post, collapse of America kind of shit where like, I had to use my survival skills and like go into the mountains, like, after the, capitalism collapses, the Chinese invade, we're all into hiding, like my kids and family are dead. Yeah. I'd go into I just go into space and jump forward a bit.
What if you had one jump and you're like, you can only do it once because you're fucking got into this machine and it's a one-time fucking use, and you want to land somewhere where the Chinese aren't still in control? You're like, maybe you go 100, 200. Do you think we get our country back?
No, this shit's on its way out, dude. I think they're gonna fuck it up just the same as we fucked it up. So, but like, I know. I mean, they're kind of disciplined youth. They're good at math and shit. So I'd give them like 300 years.
before their civilization collapses and you're no longer like subject to being a slave on Earth.
Correct.
Dude, that's conservative. I think that I would be going for like, say you go for 50 grand, right? You take 50,000 years. You know, assuming. I'm just saying, like, say everyone died, or at least civilization collapsed a few times. Like, at least, like, you're not gonna be born into this mega survey. Like, I think I would rather go 50,000 years in the future and live like a caveman than live in a communist China.
I agree with that.
Nah,
100%.
nah, not me. I still want to recognize some shit. I still want to.
Well,
I still want to like
you might
jump back
recognize something.
300 years from now, and like I go to New York and I see the Statue of Liberty just has like a Fu Manchu now. Like they kept it, but they've kind of modified it a bit.
Dude, 300. I don't know, Mike. And what about you, dude? So I'm going like 50,000.
Yeah, I'm going 300. What are you going?
The reason I coughed is because when you said the 50,000, it caught me off guard, and I inhaled a little bit of my own snot, which sent me down this mental rabbit hole of what the Earth would look like in 50,000 years. And it's mind-boggling. I'll tell you, I went on this journey, and I'll take you on this journey with me, right? So I imagine if you were to do it, right, you would still have some like if we have speed of light technology, yeah, then we have the technology to give you a little view thing, a little viewer, so you can see what's happening on the planet at the time, right? As you're traveling around it, you can see like the shift, and it probably looked retarded because you know it's like merging together, and like it looked like a fucking I don't know what, like a Monet painting, you know, beautiful, pretty, hard to understand, you know. And so, but I imagine like you would be able to like get like little snapshots of what's going on. So you'd be able to see like, yeah, the Chinese are gonna fucking deface the Mona Lisa, but you don't need to stop there because you can see it. You know what I mean? You're still getting to experience it, I think. I wonder like maybe 50,000 years. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Why are we just assuming that the Chinese want to deface all art and culture?
You brought it up, dude, not me. I think not bring that up.
I think that's historically accurate.
I think that's just what they
didn't
do.
They literally destroy their own history?
Yeah, a lot of it's got snuck
what's
away
his
to
face?
Taiwan. Yeah. When they
They're
had
like,
the
hey, we don't
Chinese
even like our
Revolution.
own history.
Yeah. Well, they had to
You think
get rid
they're
of
gonna
all
like the
religions,
Statue of
didn't
Liberty?
Yeah, they had to get rid of everything. Hey, so yeah, of course they'd get rid of the Statue of Liberty. They'd make it so it never existed. That's their whole thing. Is it never
All right,
existed?
fair.
Only
Fair.
No, they would probably melt it down and make like fucking porta potties out of it.
Oh yeah,
They would do it.
that's a great idea.
You think they
actually.
wouldn't?
Fucking
They got a lot of
insult-
money.
Insult to injury, dude.
They'd
They
make
make
little
shitters
Chinese
out of our
little
symbol of
Chinese
freedom.
stars, dude. Little communist Chinese.
And it's gonna
stars,
be, you know what it's gonna say on it, bro? On every fucking piece of that porta potty, made
Yeah.
in China. That's what it's fucking say.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
no.
totally right. Okay, Mike. And how many years, dude?
Oh, so I reckon I'd probably go past Serghei's 50,000 because I really want to see.
Yeah.
I really want to see what
Nice.
happens like even further, you know. Because if I'm already going like there, like I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going because by the time you get to 50,000 years, nobody's gonna recognize you anyway. So you might just get rounded up as a witch or some weird some demon thing that they've never seen before and get killed anyway. So I want to go to like maybe 200,000 years, maybe 500,000 years, and then I want to zip through that, and I want to pass through like when the sun dies. I want to see it collapse.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And see what happens to the Earth during that time as well. And then I guess once that
Wow.
happens, I won't have anything to spin around in the speed of light, so I'll just zoom off into, I don't know, maybe another star, dude. I guess.
Maybe that's when it all just like the sun explodes
Well,
and then it starts coming back again. And then that's how you travel backward in time, dude.
Well,
and you can
that's
just land
actually-
right back.
that's actually what I wanted to ask Serghei about, because there's the theory that if the universe has an edge, right? If you were able to travel fast enough to go to one side of it and then come around back through the other side of it, right? Would you not then come out to like the beginning of, right? Can you go all the way around and zip back through the other side of time? It was this.
So I think that
Yeah.
the universe is not in a like a three dimensional space like we imagine where like this mic is, right? I can move around wherever in 3 dimensions of space. I think that oh hey, your camera's back on. But
Not for me.
for 50% of us. Well, sorry, what was I saying?
You were explaining if you
Space.
can go off the edge of the universe and come back around the other side. I want to add to that. I want to add to we act like he's a fucking like scientist. We're just
I'm not.
the only smart guy we know. We're like,
Sergey, you're
let
smarter
me
than
ask
we
you
are
about the edge of
answering
the
these
universe,
questions,
dude. Yeah, no, he's actually giving it thought, which is what I like about him. I want to add to that the theory of like the universe is ever expanding since the Big Bang, if you accept that that's how the universe was created, or it was God, whatever. But I'm going off the Big Bang theory, and so it's always expanding, which also means that it has to be expanding but slowing down, and at some point it's going to contract, and then at that point, when it starts contracting, can you go backward in time?
What you just described is basically the big crunch, which is actually a theory. Yeah. And then so basically it goes, explodes, comes back in, explodes again. And that's just what time is a direction of this mass that's moving, this universe coming out, time's going forward. If it goes back, that'd be annoying. You'd have to live your life backwards. You'd be like,
You're right.
You know?
You're right. That'd be kind of annoying. Let me follow up that question with. I kind of find myself at this paradox sometimes of, like, my day to day matters, right? Like I go to work, I fucking make sales phone calls, I make money, I go for a run, I work out, I call my friends, blah 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 blah. I have a pretty fucking good life. But then I start thinking about the fucking ever expanding vastness of the universe, and I go, oh, this doesn't matter at all. Like the fact, none of this shit matters. So because I think that you find interest in this category of the universe and like the big picture, how do you find meaning in your existence?
damn,
Jesus
dude. That's perhaps the deepest.
Isn't that a fucking great
Deepest
question?
question.
Fuck you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
No, that could be the greatest and deepest question of humanity. What possibly, up until today, we don't know enough information to ask a deeper question. That was it. You fucking,
Cheers, bro.
You fucking,
Cheers, bro. I drink to
Yeah.
that, dog.
you were just digging away, and then all of a sudden your shovel hit fucking diamond, and you're like, clink. You're like, uh oh.
Yeah, I'm like, I got one, boys. Let me reel it in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so-
can't go further than this.
Yeah, go ahead, Sergey. How do you find meaning in your existence?
Damn, how do I find meaning in my existence? Well, first of all, I think we have to acknowledge that our entire experience is a bunch of brain synapses and bunch of folds and compartments of your brain that come together and structure meaning. They sew meaning into everything that you experience. So what that means is that everything has meaning, right? Every single thing to a human is meaningful in some sort of way. It's probably on some scale of not like a normal scale of like, but do you know what a vector is?
I do. I took physics class and I forgot, but I've heard that term before.
Yeah, it basically has like a it also has a direction, right? So it's like an angle, like so basically imagine like a 3D space. A vector can go any direction in that 3D, space. It's not just length and width, and it doesn't live on a two-dimensional scale. It's multi-dimensional basically. And so everything that that is in your memory and your processing thing is like attached in this network of meaning, and you map everything. So I guess what you're asking me is, in a sense, is what is at the top of my hierarchy of my neural web of meaning. So this life that I've lived, all the bullshit that I've done has led me to this moment. And at this moment in time, my hierarchy, I would say, I guess being noticed and doing something, like achieving something that's, that's beyond me. That's something really important. I think that's what drives me right now. And I don't know what that something is. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing that I hold to be the highest meaning of life. But I think it's an overall, like, it's not just like one thing. It's not like just my kids, just my wife, because you're everything, right? So my whole existence, I feel like I need to achieve something really important. It sounds stupid, but I have this like almost like religious sense of like, that feeds into like when I'm playing too many video games, it's like, you should probably like, take a break and go read something, learn something. I always have like this list of things that I need to educate myself on. And it's like kind of compulsive. But I think that's because I want to be the ideal version of myself that I could be. And I know that I'm not. And part of that is like really thinking about the way I interact with my family, with my friends. So I derive a lot of meaning from my relationship to my loved ones. I derive a lot of meaning to my relationship of the way I perform my work, my daily duties, the way I take care of myself, like physically, mentally. And I know deep down inside, we're all deeply flawed. We're all just sinful. We're all, we've got the same baseline. Jesus is like, yes, go ahead.
I think Mike had a question first, but then I also have a question.
Oh, okay. We'll take question one.
Well, it seems like what you're describing with like the wanting to create something, like usually when people experience this little ping that goes off where they realize this is what I'm going to do and I'm actually going to take that leap. A lot of times there's an event that leads up into that. Like what was there an event that led you to become more critical of the way you were living your life, or was there something that happened that just what flipped that switch for you to make you decide that now because not everybody always thinks about like the hierarchy of their meaning in life and stuff, but I think everybody does think about it, or most people think about it at least one point, which sets them on that path forward. Is it something you've always thought about, or was there some thing that happened?
It might have been more of like a granularly like compacted thing rather than an individual event. I think that I got to, and this might be an expansion of like listening to podcasts maybe, or at least like a good catalyst into it. Like I saw the way that other people go through life, right? And you read history, you read about the pharaohs, you read about these incredible individuals, and you understand, like, so I have like 2 kids, right? So I raised, 2 humans. You understand that all of us start being a little baby, and we just like, wake up and do some shit, and the way that you live your life, all of the decisions that you make end up being what is available to you, right? We sprinkle in some luck in there to be in the right place, in the right country at the right time. But I mean, like, just generally speaking. And so I just watching people like Elon Musk, like Eric Weinstein, like a lot of like these incredible individuals, and I'm like, damn, they've set themselves up so good that they're able to live at a higher state of existence to achieve more stuff. I mean, to do more things. And if you don't, you kind of get stuck, like with, the majority of people, and you don't, because I think we're all capable of something really deeply meaningful. Like I think, most people have this capacity to be able to do this. And it's kind of like a blind search. You're searching for the needle in the haystack, which is what you're referring to, like finding the thing that they want to do. And I think that I haven't found that thing. I haven't. So maybe this thing that I have is because I have a void that I'm like searching for. I'm like, sprouting my tentacles, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. But a lot of these things are incredibly fascinating to me, and I don't know what to do with them. So all I can do, being a human, is learn information, right? And then try, if whatever's possible, maybe go to a convention, maybe like talk to some other people. But there's not too many options of what you can do when you don't know what you should do. And so I guess I'm trying to cast my net really wide right now and be like, hopefully my path is leading me to interact with this thing that would bring me the most meaning. If that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was a fucking brilliant answer. And I feel like I've also had similar thoughts and goals for my own life. And a lot of times I think that wanting for like something more, like more meaning, or like there has to be something bigger going on, or like I have to be achieving something or striving for something constantly, has made me miserable in my life. And I'm wondering if you've ever had that kind of thought or realization of like, what if you never satisfy that void? What if you never whatever that is, whatever you define success as, can you still find meaning in your day to day? Of like, it's like the difference of like ambition to like work towards something and continue your personal growth and get better, versus being content with who you are and your day to day, and like loving yourself and your situation. That whole fucking struggle, I've gone back and forth with. I don't think there's a real answer. I've been listening to a lot more like Buddhist philosophy on that just kind of life is suffering, and like, hey, odds are you're never gonna fucking fill that void, or you're never gonna achieve the greatest height of heights, and even if you do, it might be empty. So not really a question, but I guess, have you ever considered that?
I'm going to be very bluntly honest, and I could be like, oh yeah, sure, I have, but no, like, you preface this podcast with like, let's, don't censor yourself, and I took that in more than just swearing.
Sure.
No, honestly, I haven't. I don't think I'm where I need to be, because I don't know where I need to be, and I wouldn't say I'm in panic mode, because it's not like I'm just sitting there like I can't like function or anything like that. It's like whenever that is almost at the same level as the universe, right? So that's like a parallel. So the meaning and your relationship to yourself and your conscious experience is very parallelly powerful, just like the thought of the universe and existence, and like, oh fuck, this is all particles and atoms, it doesn't make any sense, like what the fuck is this, what is life, like why did we get here, why do we have life? It's kind of the same thing, except for one's in your personal life and one is in your existential life. And I'm just not at in a spot where I haven't sat down, I haven't been able to maybe slow myself down and to even think about that. I'm like, nope, this is just a thing. So, maybe it would be healthy to pause a little bit and reflect. But I'm just, my e-brake doesn't work right now. I'm just fucking rolling down that hill.
Pedal to the metal, baby. Let's grind set mindset, baby. Let's go. Let's fucking achieve. Let's do better. Yeah, and dude, and I understand that mentality, and that is a piece of me as well that I can't erase from myself. And like I think that is why I'm so organized, and that's why I have a to-do list, and that's why I want to capture as much knowledge as I can. But I don't think I'm going to find happiness that way. I don't think that's how you find happiness. Like I'm obviously spitballing here, but I just don't think I think happiness comes from being content with yourself and your current state at all times. I think like the Elon Musk or the Eric Weinsteins, for example, like are not any happier than you and I are right now. They've just maybe they've achieved more shit and they have more money, and I don't know, they have the ability to fucking go to Cabo whenever they want. But I don't think that they're necessarily happier because they've achieved those things, which is what I'm starting to like change my mindset into. I'm what's the fucking word? I'm like not evaluating, processing, maximizing maybe. I'm trying to maximize my life for happiness, not achievement. And how I do that, I have no fucking idea, really. But I feel like it has something to do with just being more content with who you are at any given time and forgiving yourself for your shortcomings. And forgiving yourself when you don't fucking check off that final thing from your to-do list or whatever it may be. But that's something that I struggle with as well.
If I would say that if you put your meaning hierarchy in such a way that where happiness is the top of the pillar, then yeah, like a lot of these people that are on top of their game, I think they got there because they were using their, all their whatever components that make up a part, like the happiness and all their whatever currency they have, they had a focal point of achievement, I think, and before happiness, right? It's almost like you can't get to their level of success and by maximizing happiness, because you have to sacrifice, right? At a certain point in time, you're going to have to choose, like, how much happiness do I want to give up? Is this long term? Is this going to be like a 6-month thing where I have to sacrifice and put some work in and then be able to have more happiness later because you're now able to be in a position where your happiness can be maximized in that environment? Or do you want a steady stream of happiness, right? That's another way to where you're like just making the right decisions to where you're still the most happy. So yeah, I think those people maximized, behaviors that are more like risk taking, just attacking, not going, grinding. You kind of have to do that, or else there's just not enough time in the day for you to, obviously there are people who probably had it a little easier, but life is complicated and there's a lot of different factors and we can talk about it all day, but it's like, unless you put in the work, we wouldn't even know we might not know your name. And so I guess it depends like what's more important to each individual.
Yeah. I think it comes down to how do you define success and how do you define happiness? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just gonna say, kind of along that same point. I think of it like, what is the thing that you're trying to achieve, right? So, when you're trying, like, say you're trying to fill the void, and where where your actual intentions are, right? So, like, if you're trying to fill that void with material things, I don't think that void ever gets filled. It seems to me like people that fill that void with wealth or properties or shoes or just trying to amass as many businesses as they can, I think they find, at least later, most of them, I don't know, I can't speak from that perspective really because I am not that rich. But when your intentions are to, say, communicate with people and pass on information, right, then you start to fill that void, right? That void is filled by the human interactions. Now, obviously you have to grind to be able to do those things, but I think, at least in my experience, I've found that as I've put in more time to do stuff that I enjoy, say the podcast, or actually going out and building legitimate interactions with people, actually building relationships in a tribe here and a tribe there. I think that's where obviously I lean into stuff is, and that's where my void and purpose is to meet as many people and build as many like connections as I can. And that's what I do. Obviously it's different for everybody, but I think you find that you have more time for happiness when the thing that you're doing or the thing that you're grinding for actually brings you purpose, right? Some kind of legitimacy to the void that you're trying to fill, as opposed to setting yourself a goal. I'm going to make $1 million by this point or $2 million by this point.
Did you just bring up the point of it's not the destination, it's the journey?
Yeah, 100%, dude. That's what it is. Merry Christmas, bro.
Cheers to that, dog, dude.
I don't know, dude. I'm wearing a beanie,
dude,
bro. What do you
you should work
expect,
for. Yeah, dude, you fucking hippie, dude. You should work for Hallmark, you bitch.
He was just reading that off a Chat GPT answer.
Yeah, I'm the kind of people that have to be worried about Chat GPT because they can mimic us easy as.
Oh man, do you think that they have the ability? Because like you know how like Rogan and like all those big podcasters have pretty much the ability to build their own AIs because they have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of content recorded that this AI can listen to. So
Yeah.
I wonder what's the threshold, dude? Could they build an AI off of the Weasel podcast at this point and be able to
100%.
accurately? You think so?
Yeah, easy, dude.
100%.
Yeah.
Think about, you guys had you said, like, let's just say 80, right? Let's say you have 80 on the dot. How many? 2 hours each. 160
like
hours of dialogue.
Yeah.
That's
Roundabouts.
insane. Just imagine all the things that you guys have discussed. Like, if you put that into text, could you write a book with it?
Oh yeah, easily.
Dude,
it wouldn't be good.
That's like actually a question.
I'm
about to look that up right now.
Dude, what would the Weasel book? What are the chapters of the Weasel book, dude? You got to have at least I don't know, at least the first 3 chapters are cock talk.
Yeah.
And jizz mentions masturbation and sex stories.
Roundabouts half. Dude,
Yeah, no,
I
man.
think.
I'm roundabouts half.
Roundabouts half. Yeah. Because your average book is only like 100 and some odd hours if you read it through straight. Not even, right? It's a lot less if you just read it straight through. Yeah.
I think
60 hours.
I think they could. To Serghei's point, they could. If someone wanted to spend some money to build a fucking AI to listen to every episode that we've recorded, and build some kind of Weasel bot that could repeat you could ask it questions.
Dude, I could do that right now to you guys. 100%.
I was going to say, it's not that hard. Yeah.
I could train a GPT model on all of your conversations, and I'd basically fine tune it. So, like, Well, this is what you do. If you want, you could do this right now. You take a GPT model, which you can get through Azure, which is the Microsoft cloud. So you can go to Azure and be like, hey, I would like a connection to a GPT model, which is responsible for ChatGPT. And so you get this connection, and then what you can do is you can take that and open up like an app. You can write Python code and just attach it to all of the transcripts from your documents. And whenever you have a question, like say I ask, and the prompt could be, by the way, in the background, you say, you are the host of the Weasel podcast. Answer the following question like the hosts would. And then the following question would be the user input. So meaning whatever I ask. So I could ask and be like, hey, how's your day going? And then this thing goes through all your transcripts and gives an approximate answer of how, yes, I'm Mikan.
Go ahead, Mike.
So if you did this right, would it answer as one person? Meaning, would it answer as both me and Jonah's written personalities amalgamated together? Or would you have to write in as
you could do
Jonah
both,
or as you could do like split them up.
You could have you could have a Jonah bot, you can have a Mikan bot, and you can have a bot that says blend all of the thing into one individual.
Oh,
you
bro,
could do,
yes,
you could,
dude.
Dude, I would love to have our love child bot.
Think of this, right? Imagine, if you will, we have a podcast where it's Mikan bot and Jonah bot are debating topics that we get from users or listeners, right? And then it's being mediated by Weaselbot, which is the amalgamation of both our written personalities, right? Bro, you could do that, right? That'd be easy.
The problem with that is that at least I know that I contradict myself fucking constantly.
Doesn't matter,
dude. You're gonna win.
Does not matter, dude. No, I won't.
Dude,
I'm a dumbass, dude.
You're
It's
gonna
fine.
win.
It'll be fine. I'm a dumbass. Mike and Bot will lose. Jonah Bot will be able to feel all cool and ego-ish about it. It'll be great. And then fucking Weasel Bot will just tell both of them to keep going, dude. It'll be great. Think about it.
Fuck, man. You're right. You're right.
What
That's
if
good.
you
we-
could
Oh no, go ahead, Serghei. Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say you could also do the next step up. Is you could get these bots, and you could then have an AI make an avatar for each of them, and then you can write a script to for them to do a whole podcast episode, and then you can have a voice copy your exact voices and inflections, and do the actual podcast. That's a thing that they already do. So I listened to a podcast of Lex Friedman and Eric Weinstein, which was completely 100%. The transcript and audio was AI generated, and it sounded exactly like them. And they were having a conversation about some like non-existent biology topic that they had made up, and it was like a good like 5-minute podcast.
That's insane.
Whoa.
How long would it have taken them to write that up, you think? Like actually set it up and everything? Because it's only 5 minutes long. Because the video would have been AI generated
like
as well.
each. There's no video. It was just an audio.
Oh, okay.
But you could technically do an avatar. I don't know how long that would take. But say you just did audio, like just to fuck with your listeners. You just posted a AI only. You don't even tell them, and it's just like a fucking 30-minute Jonah and Mike and Bot talking to each other.
Oh,
You could technically do that.
We would, dude. It would just be a cum fiasco. Dude, just.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know how
without
much that
mediation,
you've
yeah.
listened. Yeah, I don't know how much you've listened to our podcast, Serghei, but man, the early days, and even a lot of the current days are very, very cum based. Dude, we get into cock talk frequently.
Yeah,
Cannot
that's
help
fine. I've listened to several of your episodes. I don't know if I've listened to any of the older ones. I think I started listening to the contemporary ones from maybe starting whenever I reached out to you about the podcast, Because I
those
was
are
like,
better.
oh,
Yeah, those are
Okay.
definitely better. Dude, the old ones are good for their, I don't know, I should
experience.
probably go back
Yeah.
and listen to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're coming right up on an hour here.
of course, the observant one.
Yeah, right. I have one more question to finish out the podcast, or Mike, and would you like to ask the final question?
No, you go. I think I know what question you're going to ask, and I was actually going to ask it too, but you go ahead because it pertains more to your head than mine.
Okay, good. Okay, Serghei. First of all, I want to preface this question with "I love you." Say it
Well,
back.
thank you. I love you too.
Okay, good.
That's not how love works, Sorry.
Where does your hairline end?
My hairline end.
Yeah.
Pretty far back.
Yeah.
I've been balding for a while, for a very long. I'm assuming it'll just be gone eventually, and that's one of those things that's also scary, right? It's just a weird thing. You're like, huh, that's weird. Now I got a bald spot in the back.
Bro.
This is happening. I'm just whatever happens, happens.
Yeah,
I'm at that point.
I'm dude, I went bald at like 25. So
Yeah.
and like I remember the fear, and I don't know, dude. I took a lot of pride in the fact that I had hair, and you know, I thought I'd be fucking ugly bald, with just all these like insecurities about my hair. And then, dude, eventually I just cut it off. In my life, I was like, I was maybe subconscious for like a week, and then I was fine. And I was like, oh, actually, this is way fucking better. I never have to get a fucking haircut again, and I look fine. Women still want to fuck me. It's crazy. But one man to another, bro. Your time is near. I want to let you know, as a fellow brethren, and we will accept you. We will accept you into the cohort when you're ready.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. On the other side of this, there's a welcoming community.
Yeah, it's kind of like an AA meeting, where you have to, hi, I'm Serghei and I'm balding, and we go, hi, Serghei, and then you just look and it's all shiny scalps, dude, in the audience.
Yeah, I know it'll get there one day, and whenever that day comes, dude, it is what it is.
I'm there for you, dude.
Thank you. I'll call you.
Please do, as you pick
I'll
up,
give you a call.
as you pick up the Bic razor and you
Yeah.
trim and your hand trembles a little.
Yeah,
Give me a call and I'll talk you through it, dog.
But first, you should try to grow it out as long as you possibly can. Go full
That's what I did.
ponytail.
I'm not a fan of really long hair, to be honest.
Bro, I grew mine out. Me and Mike actually started at the same time, like, growing our hair out when we got out of the military. And his turned into a luscious fucking Fabio mane of hair. Mine turned into like a thinning fucking, like I kept trying to like put it in a man bun, and then it would break. So I just had like fuzzy poofs on the side of my head. It looks so fucking bad. But I was like, you know what? I'm just committed to it. And then eventually I went in a barber shop, and I was like, hey, can you fix this? And they said, no.
You're the professionals here.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. Plan B, mohawk. And then they're like, word. And so they gave me like a Chuck Liddell mohawk, and I had that for like a year before I realized that like the top of it was thinner than the back of my head. So like the back of my head was like way more like thick and dark, and then the top of my head was just like thin. Like you could see my scalp through it all, and eventually I came to the realization on my own, not that people didn't notice beforehand, but on my own, that I was like, oh shit, I think I just gotta let it go. I just gotta let it go, and then you get a tan and you're fine.
There's there's a point in time when you're playing poker, you got to turn in those chips. You know what I mean? And no matter how much you play, sometimes you're just losing and losing, and you're like, okay, you got $4 left. Buy-in is $5. I guess this is it. That's the end of the ride, right? You can't go back there anymore. So you hit that point.
For sure.
No, I've thought about this moment. I have thought about it, and it's one of those things where like you just got to start not caring. Like I just don't care. I'm just gonna get a haircut. Whatever happens, happens. Not at a point yet where I'm gonna shave. I just don't need to do that. But like I said, I'll give you a call. Maybe
Thanks,
one of
buddy.
these days.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I'll be expecting your call, whatever I'm doing, I'll drop it, dude. I'll drop it and be like, I gotta be there for my boy right now. This is a hard moment in a man's life. But like honestly, one of the best things I think that helped me through that whole time was fucking I almost hate to say it because it's almost cliche at this point, but I'm such a Joe Broganite, and hearing him talk about like his hair struggles, like really, and he was like, just fucking shave it off. It's way simpler. It's easier. You're done. You never get a fucking haircut again in your life. And I was like, okay, Joe Rogan. Oh, holy one, I'll do it. And yeah. No.
Well, that one has no strings attached. If you go the other route and you're like, actually, I'm going to try to Elon Musk this and have a full head of hair when you were completely balding, then it's it's upkeep, it's responsibility. It's like having
Is
is
he balding and then did he get like
he was
plugs?
He was basically completely bald at the top, completely.
Yeah.
And then he did some billionaire shit, and now he's got great hair. So
I think he was one of the original like successful hair plug cases. Like he was instrumental in like hair plug technology. You ever heard of hair plug technology? Fucking wild shit, dude.
That and Daniel Tosh. You guys know Daniel Tosh?
Yeah.
Tosh Point oh.
Yeah.
He was balding as fuck, and then he like did something, and his hair looked like better than it did before.
Yeah,
hair
dude.
Plugs, bro.
I mean, that just goes to prove you're not ugly. You're just poor.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Makes me feel good.
At a certain point.
And we'll end it there, boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys. No, you go ahead, Megan.
I was just gonna say thank you, Serghei, for coming on today. We really appreciate having you on and you coming and giving us such insight into things. It's been awesome. Cheers.
Thank you.
Buddy.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah.